our team leader tried to fix us into Facebook Live. Thank you. Thank you. We are now live on Facebook. From now on, what we're going to do is to have a testimony from someone who is very successful in this business, our Kangen business. And for those of you who are joining us, welcome into this part of our normal Saturday weekly meeting. And for today, we have invited a young man, a millennial. He is a good example of a millennial who have joined us and have become very successful in this business. And he has been like Heng Augustine have been recently promoted to 682-3. Okay, and I'm sure he's got a lot of wonderful things to hear, to share. Before we call upon him to share, let's give him a big round of applause. Okay, our traditional way of sharing our joy with our speaker. Augustine, he comes from a family who is doing very, very well with our Kangen business. His father and mother is -4, 682-4. Okay, and he's -3, and he's got several sisters and brothers involved in the business too. Maybe what we can do is to let Augustine share it from the horse's mouth, how he came into this business, got to like it, build it up into a lucrative, and not only lucrative, it's a growing business. Not only for millennials, he's got a big group of people, varied group of people, spreading from Malaysia right down to even Australia and many other places. Augustine, you can go ahead and begin to share.
Yes, thanks, Michael.
Thanks
for having me. Hi, everyone. How are you guys? Haven't seen you guys for a long time or so. Pleasure meeting everyone. Nice, nice. Aaron, Andy, I can see you from here. Hello, Renee. Well, I see a lot of people from different countries also. Anyone from Cambodia? Maybe you can type in the chat box. Say if you're from Cambodia, say me.
Yeah, Heng.
Nice, nice. What about Singapore? Anyone from Singapore?
Oh, plenty. Justin, Jocelyn.
Nice. Oh, from Cambodia. Oh, nice, nice. What about from India? Oh, hi, Lawrence. What about from India? Anyone from India here? I believe so, right? I see some of our Indian friends here. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. And what about from Malaysia? Say a me in the chat box if you're from Malaysia. Nice. Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Good, good, good. Any countries I've missed out? Any countries I missed? From UK. Wow. Hello, friends from UK, from India. Nice, nice. Okay. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Augustine, and thank you, Michael, for the opportunity for giving me the stage to share the goodness about Kangen Water business as well to everyone. And I believe that this session is for that. So without further ado, I would like to begin, right? So I do not have slides, but I would like to share with you more on my journey on how I become a 2-3, the same time how I actually influence and impact people to attract them into the business, okay, how to improve sales, right? So I'm going to share those with you guys. Now, to get to 682-3, right, it's a huge milestone, but we got to take one step at a time, right? Before we got into 2-3, right, I know nothing about 2-3 at first. I didn't know I want to become a 6A. And of course, you know, at the time I have got to learn up two things, right? The demo and the business plan. These two I need to do. And I think my worst one was the demo, right? Because the demo was a little bit difficult for me, but I tried to duplicate from my mom, right? Because my mom did it very impressive. So I just had to duplicate. And after 1 week of practicing the demo, right, straight away I go and introduce it to my friends, okay, to my friends. And then of course I didn't close it because my demo was so horrible, but it was a very good experience. Then on the second week, third week, I've got friends and auntie, right, that purchased the machine after that. And because of that, it gives me the income, right, because I was doing it part-time initially, right? And that helps me. And as I go more experienced into the business, right, then that's where I need to season and sharpen my knives, okay, in how I deliver the message across to attract, influence more business people to come and join my team. Okay, so I'm going to share with you how I do that. So here's a question, right, for everyone. Maybe I can get some engagement from every one of you here. Put up in the chat box whether yes or no. Before you decide to do Enagic as a business, right? Like, do you have a checklist, right? Do you have a checklist of what the business must have before you put in your time, your money, your effort? Do you have a checklist for that or not? Like, do you have a characteristic of a good business? You know, like how Sam normally do in his EKW. Do you have a checklist on that? Right? Right. If you have, you put a yes. If you do not have, put a no. Nice. Let's see from the chat. Previously no, now yes. Samantha, yes. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Yes. Okay, so you guys have checklist. Nice. Okay. Initially I didn't have a checklist either. Okay, but as I have more experience in the business, I realized that a checklist is very important because that's how I'm able to deliver the message across to them, add value to them, so that they will be able to join me. Right? They'll know why I decided to do as a business. So it's a must to do that, right? Because we are going to do a business that doesn't need a huge upfront investment. A lot of businesses out there, right? Let's say if you're opening a center, a cafe and all that, you need 6 figure to come out. You need a huge upfront investment. You just imagine the amount of time, the amount of effort, the amount of energy that you need to put in, right? Before you actually open up a shop, a center, and it requires a huge upfront investment. But in this Enagic business, right, it doesn't require a huge upfront investment. Therefore, you need to actually come up with the criteria or the characteristic of the Enagic business, right? Or the checklist, like I always say, is the checklist, okay? So the beauty about this Enagic, right? Do take notes, okay? Because I'm going to share with you verbally. It's very important to take note, all right? So I'm going to share with you 9 of them, right? There's 9 checklists, all right? 9 checklists, and these 9 checklists, you want to actually use them when you are talking to people, okay? Because there are many businesses out there, but these 9, okay, it's going to differentiate the Enagic business from the rest of the businesses out there, okay? It's the combination of these 9. So let's begin, right? The first one is that there's no middleman and resellers, right? Do you know that this point here, this is one of the advantages, by the way, okay? I say no middleman and no resellers, right? It's because do you remember like during the COVID times when all of us are stuck at home, when there's strict protocols that we are not supposed to dine out, we're not supposed to go out, and most of us are supposed to stay home for 2 weeks, for a month and all that, right? You start to see, right, there are businesses out there that are struggling. There are a lot of businesses out there that are struggling. But some businesses, right, they are actually pretty innovative. They actually get, for example, a person who's actually supplying fruits and vegetables, right? The manufacturers itself, they actually get someone from the manufacturing team to actually go and promote the fruits and vegetables for them. Okay, so with that, doing that, right, they turn on their Zoom live on Facebook, right? They actually omitted out a lot of middlemen, which means, right, their profit actually increased. Okay, their profit increased. So Enagic, right? Okay, on the other hand, right, we have there's no middleman involved because after Enagic, and Enagic being a full service medical device manufacturer, the next person in line in the supply chain is us, the distributor, right? Hence, we have a huge profit to play, okay, and to obtain as well. All right. So the first point, the first advantages is actually no middleman and resellers. So I always emphasize this. You know, when you're in the business, there's no middleman, there's no reseller, because we as a distributor, we are next in the supply chain after the manufacturer. All right. Then the second one is that low risk and high margin. How many of you, right, want to do a business that has got high margin? Of course, you want to do a business that has got high margin, all right, and low risk as well, of course. But out there, right, there are not many businesses that has this combination of two, low risk and high margin, right? Tell me, what's the risk in Enagic? When you buy the machine, right, you do the business, what are the risks, right? There's no risk, right? The only risk is your time, because you're going to put in your time into the business, right? Low risk. Now, I say high margin is because, right, Enagic pays about 60% to the distributor, right? More or less about 60% profit. So hence, you have got a high margin. If you watch Dragon's Den, if you watch Shark Tank, right, you know that every time when the business person decided to actually pitch an idea to the tycoons, the tycoons will always ask, what's your profit margin? Because they want to know the profit margin. If it's high, they're willing to invest in the business as well. So in Energic, right, our profit margin is about 60%. Of course, it all depends on which rank you are at, all right? Depends on your performance to climb up the rank. So if you're 6A, you get to actually max out your commission. So if you're starting off the business, you have got to actually put in the effort to climb to the rank, okay? But definitely there's low risk and high margin. So it actually gets a lot of people that is, how do I say it? A lot of people who do not have so much cash in hand, but they want a business to start, okay? Especially when your business, right, if you decided to purchase something, right, you have installment plans. So in Energic, we do have installment plans, but I understand not all countries have installment plans, right? Yeah, but in Energic, we do have low risk and high margin, all right? So that is point number 2. Now, point number 3 is this. This is what I love also. No stocks inventory, right? No stocks inventory. Let me describe to you the process of the Energic delivering machine. Now, if you, let's say you've got, you contact your friend, you went out, okay, and then you chit chat, and then suddenly you bring out the topic of Energic and you decided to share with him this opportunity. Whether or not he joined or not, it doesn't matter. But when you share with them, right, you want to tell when he decided to purchase it, the machine, and do the business, okay? Do you know that you do not need to actually keep any stocks? Because all you got to do is to make a phone call to Energic, send an email, and then order it, and then the stock will go to their doorstep. Okay, so there's no stock inventory. So when you do not need to worry about stocks inventory. It's just buy and order, buy and order. But if you have to take care of the stocks, if you have to take care of stocks, right, it will be order then deep shit. You guys get what I mean, right? Because you don't want to carry so much stock. What happens if nobody buys it from you, right? Just imagine if Energic company right now requires you to purchase 100 machines first before, you know, they gave you the license to do this as a distributor, right? No, right? Doesn't make sense, right? 100 machines is crazy, right? So that's why if you decide to do this as a business, a person who comes in to do Energic as a business, you do not need to actually keep stocks. This is a very good point. Do you emphasize that now when you talk to people? So right now, when I talk to people, I'll actually mention these points, all right? The next point, point number 4, that I want to share with you, which is so important, because this is by far my favorite point, okay? No hiring of staffs. Okay, why I say that? You know, when I go out, when we talk to friends and all that, when you're out there talking to friends, whether or not they're employee or employer, sometimes they do talk about the company, right? They rumor about their employees and all that, right? Okay, so they're worried to see their boss's face. They get mad to see their boss's face. They don't like their colleague face, right? They talk all that, right? Because that's the only time they get to leash out whatever they want to say, right? Then they also will tell them they got pay cut and all this nonsense, right? But in Energic, do you know? Let me ask you, type in the chat box, right? Who is the staff in Energic? If you are doing the Energic business, who is your staff? Who is your staff when you are doing the Energic business? Type in the chat box. I want to see. Let's see. Ourselves. You might want to type in the chat box yourself. All right, type in the chat box. If who is your staff when you're doing the Energic business? Who is your staff? Come on, I need answers. M the boss, M the staff. Staff hired by Energic Malaysia. Okay. Nice. Let me tell you who is the staff, all right? The staff, you may want to take note. The staff is your Kangen machine. The staff is your Kangen machine, right? Remember, the staff is your Kangen machine. When the Kangen machine, right, will not complain about you, right? The machine lasts for 15 to 25 years with proper maintenance, right? And is able to produce water out for someone to drink. And if somebody sees miraculous benefits with Kangen water, that's when they'll start to call you and they'll purchase the machine from you. Are they good stuff? That's your best stuff because you do not need to actually pay salary to your staff. All right, which company gives you that? Right? Supplements, right? You let them try a supplement, your supplement runs out. But if for your machine, right? Your machine is your staff and it can produce you unlimited amount of water. Yeah, right? You guys get what I mean? So this is actually a very important point, okay? So I do have people to actually try the water. So this is actually very amazing. All right, that's why, therefore, yeah, it's my favorite point. Okay, now the next one is that no high rental payment. So myself, right, about slightly over 5 years in the Energic business, right, I don't own any physical store. The only place I'm working right now, it's my home right now, right? But I don't have a shop. I don't have a shop to do the business. I don't think I required one as well, because I see these days, right, the younger generations, right, they do not need a store to actually run a business one, especially when you're doing this kind of Energic business, okay? In a direct selling business, you don't need a shop to be successful in, right? When this kind of micro business, you do not need a shop to be successful. All right. So definitely I do not pay any rentals and all that thing. Okay. I only need a place for me to sleep. And my home is where I design my home to have a water station. So I can just bring them over to my home only. That's about it. All right. So I do not need to worry about rentals because I'm always at the comfort of my own home. Okay. And yeah, that's about it actually. No high rental payments. Okay. And yeah, that's how the young people works today. Nowadays we keep on moving around. We do not really need a lot of we do not really need a physical store. Put it this way, physical store, we do not really need one. All right. So that is point number 5. So next I'm going to share with you is that point 6, I think, right? We don't have to take care of licensing. Okay, licensing is a headache, by the way. If you are in a business, you need to actually license, okay, to get these patent rights and everything, right? Copyrights and all that. And the moment when you are doing this as a business, okay, basically when you purchase a machine, the company will give you a license to do this business for free in every part of the world. So who takes care of this license? Actually, Energic takes care of this license, because Energic is actually a 48 or 49-year-old Japanese company. It's a global company that renews their license for us to kickstart this business, okay, to do it locally and around the world. So if you've got friends from Dubai, you can literally open a market there in Dubai. If you've got friends from India, you can open a market and do it in India, you know, just like how Sam actually sparked the market in India, right? So we all know that if you want to start a company, it's not easy to get a license, right? And the moment where you're in the Energic business, it saves you a lot of time and you get to start this business right away and expand your business globally. So point 6, please take into account as well, because it's very important. So all these points I mentioned to you, they are actually imperative, okay, for you to actually, what's it called, influence the person's decision to do this business with you, to be your business partner. All right. Now, the next one I'm going to share with you is that, what's the next point I will share? Warehousing, right? Warehousing. Let me share with you about this warehousing, right? I used to have this friend, right, who is into supplying fruits and vegetables, So she actually opened up a store, right? A store somewhere in the central region in KL. So always ordering, you know, what's it called, from the supplier. Sometimes they order lesser, the boss complain. Sometimes they order more of it, the boss complain, because the lifespan of the fruits and vegetables doesn't last forever, right? You know, it will actually oxidize and then you cannot eat already, right? So then they intend to get a warehouse. So if they want to get a warehouse, right, number one, it's very expensive. It's very expensive to get a warehouse. Plus, if you're getting in central region, oh my God, the amount, you don't know whether you get a space or not. You can't even get a space. It's difficult to get a space. All right. Even if there is a space, it's very expensive, right? And it's not easy to manage. So until now, right, this friend of mine, which I kept in touch until today, there's no warehouse until today. Okay. But in Energic, the moment you step foot and decided to do this as a business, guess what? Energic actually takes care of it locally and globally. So today, if you decided to have a bulk order, you have someone who is a business oriented, decided to purchase 100 machines from you, a bulk order. Energic has a warehouse and there are machines for you. All right, you just, you can actually get the machines right away because they do have a warehouse. Even 200, 300 units they do have. All right. So warehousing is taken care of by the company, right? This is a very good point too, right? You want to actually raise it up. The next one is, after warehousing, is logistics, right? Logistics is very important too, because I have friends from around the world. Just backtrack a little bit. I used to study in London, right? For 5 years in London, and I was there for my international program as also undergrad program. So I have friends from around the world. Okay, so a few of my friends actually purchased the machine from me, right? And they always ask me, how do I get the machine and all that, And I'm so happy and I'm so thankful that Enagic actually takes care of it, right? A friend from Hong Kong, right? I have friends from Poland, right? And they actually purchased the machine from me, and simply because of the company Enagic, they takes care of the logistic, all right? So I'm very amazed with how Enagic actually streamline and make it easy for all of us as distributors, all right? So that's point number 8, right? I suppose so. All right. Now, the last point I want to share with you is this, because this is what a lot of people around my age, it's their concern. It's a challenge for all of us. Okay. But because of this business, right, to do this requires only a low capital. It requires only a low capital. Now, why I say that? A lot of business out there, I say, requires a huge upfront investment to start a business. But for the Enagic business in Malaysia, all you need is just 388 ringgit to start a business installment plan, and you can do this business already. So I found a lot of people out there that's got no money, but because of this business, a direct selling business, the Enagic business, as long as you're committed, you will be able to be successful in the Kangen water business. All right. So I've mentioned 9. So these are my 9 points that I mentioned. Let me share with you. The first one again was no middleman, right? No middleman, no resellers. And then maybe you guys want to type down in the chat box, if I miss out anything, right? Number 1 is no middleman, no resellers, and then profit margin, I think. And then also no stocks inventory, no hiring of staffs, no high rental payment. The manufacturing is taken care of, logistics taken care of, licensing taken care of, right? And the low capital, all right, low capital. So basically all 9 I've mentioned, and use this 9 when you talk to people, because you only talk this to people who are interested to do this as a business. If you really want your business to grow, you need more part-timers and full-timers into the business, right? That's how you're able to scale and leverage. Okay, very quickly you'll be able to rank up to 6A2-3 in no time. But if you're only attracting a lot of what's that called, a lot of end users, right, it's a little bit tougher, all right, because you don't want to be the super salesperson. So always remember to use these 9 points when you are talking to someone and you know that person is business oriented, who wants to earn side income, who wants to do this part-time or full-time, or big time, like Sam, right? By all means, use these 9 points and to talk to them, all right? Because it makes sense, right? The moment when it makes sense, that's where they will start to invest the time, effort, and everything to do this Enagic business with you. All right. So that's how I start that's my journey to be a 6A2-3, right? Literally just like that. All right. So with that, thank you very much. I believe there are a lot of questions, but I'll hand over back to Michael. Thank you.
Michael, you got to unmute yourself.
Okay, sorry. You make life so much easier for some of the listeners here, Augustine, by listing out your 9 points. Okay. And I think along the way, I have picked up 1 or 2 questions from your friends. Heng has been asking, how old are you? So young, you're already a 6A2-3. Can you reveal that? You can't hear me?
Oh, Gus, you may unmute yourself now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm 30 this year. 30 this
Still
year.
eligible?
Still eligible. Well, I've got someone with me. I've got a partner already.
Okay. Good. So you can only be admirers. You cannot chase after him. Well, there's a question here also by Heng, How do you build up a team? Could you share with us some of your trade secrets?
Okay. How do I build a team? Before COVID or after COVID?
Before and after.
Before and after.
Yes.
Okay, before. Let's start with before. Before, how do I start a team is that first and foremost, you got to take charge of the business, number 1. That's very important. first and foremost, take charge of business. You need to know everything about it as a start, right? You must play you must be a one-man show for a start. You must know everything, okay? Because a lot of people at the beginning, they may not know, but as you train them along the way, all right, then they will be like you as well. But most importantly is that you must have regular trainings, because those days before COVID, right, we get to actually have more events. So I usually have events at my home. We also have events somewhere in the central region. One of my partner actually have a training room. So we actually host events quite frequently also. So because of that, we actually share the same information and they receive the same information. That's how they're able to, to duplicate much easier, right? So if that's the best way to actually build a team. Actually, that's the best way to build a team. Okay, and then of course after COVID, we have no choice. We cannot actually go out and meet people and all that, right? The only thing we do is Zoom. Okay, and my team usually we still do Zoom. Okay, not as much, but still we actually have Zoom events. Okay, and that actually keeps everyone up to date, get connected, and then bring the new people into the business and build a team. That's about it.
Okay, that's nice. Augustine, you're talking about duplication. Maybe you'd like to share with us one or two activities that's important for your team members to duplicate so that your business can come in bulk.
Okay, now first and foremost, right? Remember I told you about this particular point, the 9 points there. They need to know these 9 points, because when they are talking to their friends and all that, right? I always want them to do this as a business as well. It's a waste if they're just an end user, because if they're doing it as a business, okay, they will still get side income. I mean, even end users as well, I will encourage them to share, because to share, you have the ability to own this machine for free, right? So those 9 points are required, very important, okay, as well as the 18 reasons to knock out your competitor, the one that was shared in the EKW. That is actually very, very important. So I usually have 18 reasons I share the 18 reasons why this is better. So these kind of informations, right? Everybody in the team must know, right? Everybody in the team must know. And then don't forget you must know how to do if you are, how do I say this? If you are actually one of the key leaders right in the team, right? You must actually know how to do the demo, all right? To do a demo. So at certain rank, let's say you are 4A and above, right? You must be able to know how to do the demo already, because we cannot keep on spoon feeding you because we've got other things to do, right? So you have got to know how to do the demo, and you got to know how to do the business plan, both in writing as well as showing it in the laptop. Okay, but of course, the best is still, if your team is big, right? You do not need to know all this, right? Because you can actually leverage on the team. Just bring them into the event, and then they can do it for you. Yeah.
Wow, that's good. For sharing with us some of your things you feel it's important to build up a team. Someone asked, was it Tika or Rene who said, how do you find the diamond?
Lisa,
in your team? Yeah.
How do I find a diamond?
Find a diamond.
Okay. How do I find a diamond? First and foremost, right? You must first and foremost, we need to be excited in the business. Like for example, right? When you see money, when you finally, right, put in the work, and then you're able to make the money already, right? And then along the way, you see that their friends actually introduce and refer their friends over to you. So you will be able to identify who are the serious ones and who are the more committed ones. Then you bring him on board. Okay, you tell him that okay, you are more committed to this business, and I believe that the business, you have a higher chance of succeeding in the energy business. Okay, that's where then actually put more time into the person, put more time into that business builder of yours, right? That's very important. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay, thank you, Augustine. Now that we have this COVID thing going on, and I believe you got to live with it. Someone asked, how do you do online internet marketing or not? And what are the kind of results one can expect if you get onto this?
Oh, okay. I used to do online internet marketing as well. To get to 2-3, right? And then of course, influenced by the Americans and all that, and then you start to be exposed, to want to do, like online marketing. So literally, right? Okay, I'm just like you guys. I do not know how I do not initially I do not know how to do a demo. I do not know how to do business plan or even so sophisticated with internet online marketing or that, right? Because I'm not a person, I'm not an influencer able to actually use the internet, like 24/7 out there. Okay. But I learned, right? I got to go through it like making your own what's it called, posters, making your own videos, when you have events, you take videos, you take photos and all that. Then slowly you start to see that, oh, actually I have the ability to actually make up video much faster than regular people. Actually, I have the ability to actually make a very nice, to have a good production, video production, comparing to an ordinary people, But all this comes with training. All this comes with doing it and experiencing it first, right? It's not something that I'm talented, right? And because of all that, right, then I start to get involved in online marketing, how to sell it online through the Kangen machine online, okay? And up to date, okay, I would say that it's not something I'm very, very good at, okay? Still learning, of course, right? But it does give me result, okay? Not much, but at least it's good because I do have a lot of what's it called? I already duplicated my business, so which means that I've got passive incomes, okay, and I'm able to leverage on my business builders also, right? So hopefully I'm able to find a diamond who is actually able to do online marketing soon. Yeah.
Wow, you got a good team moving, and you still are looking for more diamonds. Really good. Keep on plodding. Keep on plodding. More diamonds will be appearing in your team. Tell us your experience, no? Or maybe how you deal with some of the millennials in your team, because
Okay.
I noticed that you got a big team of youngsters in your group.
Okay, so everyone is not equal one. A lot of them, how to say, the generation is very different, right? Compared to boomers, and all that. The millennials are different. They want it. They want a lifestyle, right? They want a lifestyle, and of course, not easy also. All right, not easy because there are a lot of challenges. Like I told you, a lot of people that I know, right, also around my age and my generation, right, they do not have the money as well. Okay, so hence, we need to actually come up with a plan. You need to have plans for that. You need to have a game plan, right? So just let them try out. Just let them try the business, come and follow you and see whether they like it or not. Because at the end of the day, right, it's a lifestyle that they're seeking. So if they like the lifestyle of Magic, then of course they'll come aboard. If they don't like it, then of course, no choice. Then they'll seek for other opportunities, but we can still be friends. That's for sure. Because as your business become bigger and all that, you can diversify, yeah, and you probably need these friends as well. Yeah.
Okay, Augustine, here's another question for you. I think it's going to be an easy one for you, because hang us about your experience in tapping the warm and the cold market. Maybe you would like to
experience of warm and cold market. Oh, that's a good question.
Yes.
So warm and cold market. Okay, warm market are very much easier because warm market, right? Literally, I just bring them to come over, and then I can just talk about it comfortably. I can just talk about it comfortably because I really built a certain amount of connection with them, right? There's good connection, and I engage them through a very personal level already. So hence, sharing with them about this opportunity is much easier. I can just literally open up my laptop or my phone and then just discuss with them through a coffee, just like that. Okay. Now, cold market, of course, is very different because we are just strangers. We do not know who we are dealing with, right? That is very important. We do not know who we are dealing with, and therefore, there are a lot of skepticism in there as well. Okay, so therefore, if you want to know if I'm dealing with a person who's older, they do have the cash. But if I'm dealing with someone who is younger, right, they don't have the cash. However, if I'm dealing with someone who's younger, right, cold market, right, works for people who are younger because they live in a different generation already. They live in a generation where they are actually making money, with somebody, right, who they literally haven't seen before in their life. They haven't actually met before. They do not know how they look like, right? They can literally do business. So those are the younger ones. We are living in a metaverse generation now. But for the older ones, you know, we literally want to do business with someone that we know, we have seen before, and that's how, you know, they will actually do the transaction between one another. So it's very, very different. Yeah.
And how are your experiences with the two? Which would give you a better return?
Both also do give a very good return. Both warm market and cold market, because I think as a business person, right, you must ensure that things actually evolve. It keeps on evolving, right? And you need to implement and innovate the business as well. So therefore, you know, as we grow older, I will not remain 30 years old all the time, right? 10 years from now, I'll be 40 already. So I need the younger one to continue, you know, moving the business as well, so that I'll continue getting passive incomes, right? So both warm and cold market is essential for us to get in there.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Someone asked about what is your take and thoughts. Rennie, I think, is asking about what is your take and thoughts on digital intervention in fast tracking to 682 and 3-3 or beyond. I cannot get to understand fully, but anyway. Okay.
Wait. What's the question again? It was breaking.
Yeah, it's actually in the chat box.
In the chat box, all right.
Yeah. By Rennie, the last one.
Last one.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, what time was it? Oh, what? Okay, 5:01 p.m. What is your take and thoughts on digital intervention in fast tracking to 682-3 or beyond? Digital intervention. Okay, I'm clueless. Sorry, but I don't know how to answer that for now. Okay. It's open for discussion. We can just put it up in the chat box, okay? But I can share with you that moving forward, a lot of things is going to be digital, that's for sure. And be prepared. So basically, you know, if the older ones out there, right? Okay, the older ones, right? We cannot be relying just on our what's it called? Just like those days. Let me give you an example, right? Those days, when we rely on wallets, our grandparents rely on wallets, rely on cash, right? And then there's a new thing called credit card. Then our grandparents don't believe in credit card. But we see that today in this world, a lot of us are using credit card, right? As a method of purchase, right? So nowadays, right, today's world, you know, a lot of us, we like banks and all that, okay? But you know, there's Bitcoins and all that thing as well, right? So we have got to shift, okay, on myself, because things are changing. So in this case, right, digital, right, surely, right, okay, in the future, people are going to digitalize a lot of things, right? And a lot of companies are actually having their products and all that we can actually use and complement in our business too, right? To fast track to 682-3, at the moment, just Zoom. If you ask me, I think Zoom is the best because it's most recognizable, and every country also, they do have Zoom, right? And I bring in my friends, right, from overseas, all through Zoom only. So I think Zoom will be the best choice for in my opinion.
Good, thank you very much, Augustine.
Yeah, most welcome.
I think there's one question by Heng.
I'm
trying to get hold of it. She was asking something. Well, but before I go to that, there's one question by Tika.
Tika, okay.
This is a very human question. He says, "No, during your energetic business journey, do you feel disappointed sometimes? And how do you control this disappointment?"
I'm glad Tika brought this up. Actually, I feel disappointed sometimes. It's a very good question, Tika. I feel you, right? I do feel disappointed sometimes when I got rejected by some of my friends, right? I do got rejected by close friends as well. I want to say that, right? Close friends, people that I knew for 10 years, you know, and they didn't actually got into the business with me. But, you know, after a while, I told myself, you know, as I grow older and then, you know, hearing from my parents, you know, and people who are very successful, right? They literally like just forgive, and then just move on, because not everyone is going to go through this journey with you, right? It's only the closest to you, not the closest, but basically the person who is closest to your heart. Okay, they will actually join you and ride the wave together with you. So not necessarily your best friends or your friends will do the business. Even they reject you, you will be disappointed, but it's okay. Just move on. Now I start to learn to actually, to let it go, because move on. Just move on, right? If you like your ex, right? If you got ex, right? Just take her from the contact. Just move on. That kind of thing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
Tika,
my question to Tika.
your question is very human. All of us will feel it one time or another. But always remember, in this business, not everybody is going to buy from you. Okay? Not everybody going to buy from you. Just remember, some will buy from you because they like what you say. They like what you do. They feel value in being associated with you, with your product. So they will buy. Some won't buy no matter what you say. No matter how good your presentation is, they just will not buy from you. So there are also this kind of people. So always remember, I heard this from my Sifu many years ago. Remember 4 SWs. Some will, some won't. So what?
Next.
Go and see the next guy. You must remember, no, don't say, just stop at that point. If they don't buy, go and see the next guy. If a guy bought from you already, go and see the next guy, because there's always somebody waiting for you. But if you stop, then the little problem is so magnified. It controls your life.
Yeah.
Don't let disappointment control you. Move along, keep moving. Yeah.
Let me answer one more. Like answer
Yeah.
to Tika. Tika, by the way, I also disappoint a lot of my friends also. So it's normal. I think to disappoint one another is pretty normal, because sometimes I feel like it's not right for me. I have my own reasons. Probably they have their own reasons too. So it's okay. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought this up, Tika, because our meetings are for people like you who want to get involved in this business and want to do well in this business. So people like Augustine, our guest speakers, we normally select them, and we select them. We will give you a chance to bring out questions which is bothering you or giving you some hindrance. By asking, I'm very sure you feel very relieved, and that you'll get value, from the advice from the speaker. Okay. So for those of you who are new in the business, want to grow, or for those of you who are already in the business, want to grow, please bring your friends in, because this is a live chat meant for all of us to succeed. Okay. Okay. Now here's another question again by Heng. Heng is very, very active in Cambodia. He has a very common question because Augustine, when we are in this business, there's always this scale from 0 to 10. What emphasis will you put when you meet somebody? Do you emphasize on the business, or do you emphasize on just selling the guy to the guy, bringing him as a consumer? What is your advice?
Okay. So basically, if you reach out to the prospect, you're going to show the business first or the product first, is it?
Yeah, something like that. Okay.
Really depends on the individual, right? We are all, you see, right? God gave us a pair of eyes, So when we have a pair of eyes to see, right, we're able to actually gauge, what this person is actually looking for, all right? Because you will be able to sense just by listening, right? What they want, what they want. If they come out, if they share with you, right, and they talk to you, right, you can feel that they actually want a product more, or you can feel whether they are seeking for a business. You can feel, right? So therefore, it's actually, I don't normally do business or don't normally do product. Sometimes, right, you may be surprised that I do not need to do a demo, right? Just by sharing, and they say, "Oh, Augustine, you look so good now." Then I just share, "Oh, because I just changed my water." "What do you do?" "I just changed my water." And then they can just buy the machine just like that. So sometimes I also never do a demo also. You know what I mean? So it really depends. It really depends on the individual, right? Because at the end of the day, just be very authentic. Authentic is number one. Number two, only professionalism. Number one is authentic. Yeah.
We have a lady, Sue, who is a bit ahead of us. She's asking whether we can buy a machine with Bitcoin.
Not yet. Company don't allow yet.
You are right. Only in places where there are installment payments, they can go for installment or even credit card. Here in Malaysia, we are very lucky. We got a lot of facilities. Okay, check with your upline or the person that brought you in. I'm very sure they will be able to guide you on this. Okay. Here's somebody, Heng again, will ask you, when someone reject you on by giving, say, answer like no money, how would you handle it? How would you handle this particular problem?
What question was that? No money?
No money, yes.
No, where was the question? Can I see the question?
It's about 5 p.m.
5 p.m.
Yes.
5 p.m. 5 p.m. Oh, I don't see it. 5 p.m.
By Heng, how do you deal with people who reject you with no money? Don't need it now.
Oh, 506. Okay.
How do you deal with 506. Yeah. Sorry.
How do you do if people reject you? No money, don't need it now, don't want to try water, understand the business, but think about it. How do you respond to them? Or you just tell them that I won't what's it called? I won't continue talking to them because if they say not just I respect them, okay, just maintain friends. Just maintain friends because at the end of the day, right? People buy you because they trust you. People buy you because you treat them nice, So just maintain friends. It's not now, not the right timing. Maybe next time when they buy from you. I got a few cases also they buy from me after 4 or 5 years.
That's even better. When you started, you could be a 2A, 3A. 4 or 5 years later, you could be a 6A. So you make much more. Can still wait for them. No problem. Okay. The way to do this business is stay in this business long enough for
just
them
remember,
to
it's
be
not
ready.
The end of the world. If that one person never buy, you still got about 1 billion over people in the world. That one person don't buy, just move on. After all, I think Heng, right? Just now you mentioned that you've got a lot of customers. You see new customers every day do demo, right? So that one person say no, you've got another 100 more.
Yeah. So what? There's always someone waiting for you. Okay, good. Then someone asks you, how do you approach a prospect?
What time was that? What's the question?
The question ahead of Heng.
The ahead?
Ahead, yeah. Before Heng.
Can you share? Before Heng. Can you share some sample script? How do you approach prospect? Okay, like I said, I told you, right, it's all about authenticity. Okay, no professionalism here. Always remember to remain authentic, right? People can smell you, all right. Yeah, so I'm able to smell someone who's trying to sell me something also. A lot of people try to sell me things too. I can smell them right almost instantly when, right? Maybe because I'm in the business for a very long time too. I've got experience already. So okay, there's no sample script. Just be authentic, right? How do I approach my prospect, right? Just be authentic, basically. Just be authentic. That's my answer for that question for Rizwan.
Okay. I think we got time for one last question before we call an end to this session. Do you have anything to say to wrap up, Agustin?
Okay. What I want to say is that here's my message, right? Is that when you're doing this business, right, whether your journey is to be a 6A or 6A2 or 2.2 or 2.3 or beyond, okay, you will bound some obstacles. You definitely bound some obstacles because it's not going to be a smooth ride going up roller coaster like that, right? It's going to be up and down, which is very normal for any business, which I understand. So I'm okay with that. You understand that along the way because you're dealing with business, you have a lot of you're dealing with people as well. All right, people. You know that people reject you. Just now one question, right? You feel disappointed people reject you. Yes, you will feel rejected. You feel disappointed when people reject you. But don't worry, Tika. All right, don't worry because even myself also, I just move on. When someone reject you and all that is fine. There will be someone that will connect with you. There'll be someone, right, that you and them, they actually need each other very, very much. Could not actually be the people that you actually spend the most years with. Could be the person, right, probably 10, 20, 30 years younger than you, or even 10, 20, 30 years older than you. You will not know. But that person, right, will be your, what is it called? Your partner, your business partner, right? And there is where you know who is the truest person to you. All right. Yeah, that's my advice for everyone. Yeah. That's about it. Back to you, Michael.
Okay. That's the way wrapping up. It's good for all of us. I think we have to call an end to every good thing. Have to end. There will have to be an ending for any good thing. It's nice to meet you one more time, Gus. You have really grown. You have really matured. You have really advanced so well. Thanks for sharing today. And then before we call an end to today's meeting, we would like to take this opportunity to thank all those participants who have shared their Kangen experience with us earlier. And next week, we are also looking forward to people for more sharing. Okay, this will be a beautiful part for all those people who are trying to get into this business or want to gain more confidence about this business, whether this water will really work or not. And also, we'd like to thank Mark Tan for doing the demo, the business demo, and the business presentation part. Okay.
You're
and
welcome.
Also, our guest, we are going to give a special thanks. Let's give a special thanks to our guest speaker for today, Agustin. He's a really great young man, leading a great team of young people all over the world into major successes in this industry. The father is already a -4. Now he's -3, and they are still growing. And Heng is complimenting you, wanting to find out who is your direct upline. They must be very lucky. It's your parents. So this is the business you can build, no? Be successful and get your family members, not only your friends, your family members to come in to do this business too. And we'd like to thank also our team leader, Sam. Although he's busy in Dubai today, doing his EKW, he has also taken great interest in making sure that today's business go on smoothly before he get on to his next team event. We would like also to thank Cora, our team leader. Okay, thank you all for being with us up to this point. And for those of you who are coming in late, it's okay. You can listen to us again, in Facebook. And thank you very much. We meet again. Please stay safe, stay healthy, so that we can meet again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hi, Hanan. Are you driving, Hanan? Hey, you don't drive, man. It's dangerous. Listening and driving. Hi, Dr. Vivek. Nice to see you. Thanks, Victor, for sharing. Okay, bye-bye, everybody. We'll see each other again next week. Bring in more friends so that this will become a even more successful platform for everybody, okay, to learn about this business and grow together. Thank you.